Good evening, fellow ghouls, and welcome to On Death Consumes. I am On Death, and tonight's story, titled The Scent, comes from my own little book of horrors. It tells the story of a young man plagued by an urge and its ultimate repercussions. Please light a candle, sit back and relax as we prepare to begin. I am a degenerate, and if I am being quite honest, I have always been a degenerate in some fashion. Always a terrible little snot of a child. If my parents said up, I said down. If my friends said white, I said black. For as long as I can remember, this is the way that it was for me. I wasn't raised poorly, and my dad didn't beat me. Nobody abused me. Sure, we weren't rich, but we weren't poor either. I never had to know what it was like to be hungry. Always had a gift for my birthday, and something under the tree at Christmas. Still, for every correct thing that my parents did during my upbringing, it wasn't enough. I always had this urge deep inside to rebel. Don't get me wrong, these urges didn't sway me to hurt animals or want to hurt people or anything like that. To be honest, I rather like animals, and I'm pretty sure that they like me too. The internal urges more led me down a path of self-ruin, skipping school, staying up late, running away. If there was a Guinness World Record for times a kid ran away, I would have probably won hands down. Most times I never ran far, just hid in the woods nearby our home and waited to be found by the search party. I guess I got a rush out of being the center of attention. Then came the big one. I will never forget that one. December 16th, 1999. It was a Thursday. I was 16 years old and I hadn't run in a while. It had been a solid 7 months since the last time. I had been planning this one for quite some time. I ate dinner with the family, helped with the dishes, and excused myself to go upstairs and study. I got to my room, put on my winter jacket, hat, and gloves, and climbed out of my window and disappeared into the night. It had started snowing earlier that evening, and the wind was picking up slightly. Might be the first heavy snowfall of this winter. I made my way through to the other side of town, staying out of sight as best as possible, so as not to make it easy to be found. It must have been around 10 p.m. by the time I heard my father's voice. He was driving our 1994 Toyota Corolla slowly down the street, windows down, calling my name. I could tell by the tone he was angry, and why shouldn't he be, after pulling this stunt again, after a lovely evening at home? The snow was getting worse, and I was getting cold. It was time to go home, hear the lecture, and warm up with some hot cocoa. I grinned to myself as I emerged from the trees. My father pumped the brakes, the car sliding slightly on the snowy ice. It's about time for some new winter tires there, Pops. He got out of the car, spewing the usual about how I'm going to give my mother a heart attack one of these nights, that I'm ashamed of the family name, and blah blah blah. I sit in the car, fasten my seatbelt, fold my arms, and look out at the falling snow. Dad sits in the car and turns the car around. He starts trying to talk to me, and I keep trying to drown him out. This makes him angry. I reach over and turn on the radio. Smash Mouth's All Stars in the middle of the course. He flicks off the radio. I turn it back on and turn it up. He turns it off. Then I feel the car sliding as time slows down. The next thing I remember is hanging upside down in a stunned daze, warm blood pouring from a large gash in my cheek. and my left eye won't work. I don't see Dad. I hear sirens after a time. Then, darkness. I remember waking up when they were stitching me up in the ER. Saw my mother's face. A twisted mess of anger, fear, and maybe sadness. I get the anger. Maybe the fear is for me. I'm at a loss for the sadness, though. I close my right eye because I'm tired. I'll feel better after some rest. My father was dead. The hospital pastor came too. My mom wasn't there. I was released the day of his funeral. I went, and it was pretty terrible. I felt pretty terrible too, and everyone looked at me like I killed him. Some like they wished that it was me in that black box getting lowered into the ground. My mother was one of those. I don't understand. I didn't mean for this to happen. Can't they see that? 1 month later, my mother took a bottle of sleeping pills. For the life of me, I can't remember her speaking to me once after his death. She performed basic motherly duties, got me up, prepared meals, cleaned the house, but I can't remember her speaking. I guess she felt lonely. I lived with my uncle after that, and that was okay, but I started getting into drugs. Cannabis at first, but then stronger things. Heroin is perhaps the thing on this earth I love the most. Nothing can compare to the feeling it gives you. It takes the weight of the world off your shoulders for a little while. Who wouldn't pay for something like that? I guess that's what led me to last night. I considered it all, you know. Breaking and entering might be risky. I don't have the reflexes for pickpocketing. Armed robbery? Hell no. I don't want to be killed or forced into a situation where I would have to kill someone. I already messed my life up. I don't want to traumatize some liquor store clerk by waving a gun in their face. What could I do? The dead don't call the cops or fight back. I remember my mom was buried with all of her fine jewelry. She couldn't have been the only one, right? I just go to one of those out-of-the-way cemeteries and dig up a few bodies. It might be hard work, but they dig up bodies in the movies all of the time. Take the spoils to a pawn shop and bang. Easy money. Digging up graves is not as easy as they make it out in the movies. It took me 6.5 hours to dig up the grave of Marguerite Dawes, 1956 to 2003. Beloved wife and mother. It was probably the hardest I've ever worked in my life. Now I know why this is not the preferred method of thievery, and probably why they decided to bury people so deep in the first place. Getting open the coffin was easier than I thought. There wasn't a lock, just a latch to stop it from popping open. When I opened the coffin, I was prepared for what I saw. I was not prepared for what I smelled. If you could combine mothballs, garlic, rotten eggs, rotten meat, and a slight hint of feces in a box in the sun for 3 days, you might be close to the smell that filled my sinuses. I won't lie, I vomited almost immediately. After the retching subsided and I composed myself, I started to get to work. That smell still filled my nose and mouth. I unclasped her necklace from what remained of her neck, removed her watch and bracelets, took the earrings that had fallen next to her head when her ears decayed years ago, pried open those dry, dead hands, and removed the rings. The smell was unbearable, and I tried my best not to look at her directly. Felt as though it was disrespectful in some way. Funny, I know. I shoveled what dirt I could hastily back into the grave when the sun began to rise. and I knew I had to get out of there. I got everything back to my car and drove away. The dirt and the smell came with me. I got home and put the clothes in a bag and stuffed it into the trash. Coughing, I went to the bathroom and blew both nostrils out hard. A wad of coagulated blood and mucus dislodged from my left nostril and stuck to the sink. Disgusting. I ran the water and it went down the drain and I scrubbed my face. Still, that smell, that scent of death was as strong as if Mrs. Dawes was here in the room with me. Panicking, I slowly turned my head to look behind me. Nothing. I splashed some more water on my face and looked at myself in the mirror. I looked pale and gaunt, and there looked as though, in the strain of digging the grave, a blood vessel had broken in my left eye. It looked as if the entire right hemisphere of the sclera of my left eye was filled with blood. I felt weak. I should lie down. I overdid it, and I need to rest. The bed is too far, so I slump against the wall and drag myself to the corner of the bathroom. But the smell is still there. Can't be my clothes. I took them off. In the trash now. Where is the smell coming from? I feel cold all of a sudden. Bed's too far. I need to rest. What is that smell? Oh, right, the body. Why is it so strong, though? I drift into unconsciousness. My right eyelid opens slowly. The smell is still here, and my vision is blurry. I can't move. I'm so cold. I try to blink my eye. It takes several tries, and finally I can, and my eye begins to focus. Why can't I move? I feel everything. I know I can because everything is hurting. The blurred vision comes slowly into view. I'm lying half slouched in the bathroom floor. My neck's on an odd angle against one wall, and my back is against the other, with both my legs outstretched. I'm so pale, and it looks like bruises have formed on the lower areas of my body. I try to move my toe, but it doesn't happen. My brain won't send the signal. I can't focus on anything other than that smell. What is that? Where was I? What is happening to me? I've never hurt anybody. Why is this happening to me? I struggle to remember, but I'm tired. I need to sleep some more. What is that smell? It smells like something has gone rotten. I need to clean this place up. I pass into unconsciousness. Again, my eye struggles to focus when I regain consciousness. The smell is unbearable. What is that? It takes me a while for the eye to begin to focus. Something is moving. My landlord or one of my friends checking up on me. They will think I overdosed and they will call an ambulance. I think I need an ambulance. How can they stand this smell? It's the worst smell I could ever imagine. Slowly, my eye focuses some more. Something moving around my feet and legs. What is that? As my eye focuses, a horrifying terror rises from deep inside, something stronger than I've ever felt before. My eye focuses to see 3 rats chewing on the flesh of my legs and feet. I try to scream, but nothing comes out. I can't scream because I have no breath. Slowly, my vision fades to darkness, and I'm left with only the scent. I think I know what the smell is finally. Thank you for listening. Please, if you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe, and be sure to ring the bell as I will be uploading more scary stories soon. Drop a comment below if you would like to hear more of my original stories, along with others from Reddit. Sleep tight, fellow ghouls, and fear not the darkness. Until next time.